All right, guys, welcome back to day 9 of 31 days of favor. We are in Proverbs chapter 9, and we are about to dive right in once again. Um, Amir is here with us. He is a friend and one of the trustees at H4G Church, and he is also a carrier of wisdom in his own right. And one thing I learned about the wise or people that carry wisdom is that oftentimes, you know, wisdom. Sometimes people who try to who want to impress people with what they know, oftentimes they'll talk a lot, or they will try to get people to listen to them, when I find that wise people oftentimes will keep quiet and wait for a person to see if they want to actually listen to them. So it's like the wise will either get quiet. Like I can learn wise. I know who's wise in a room oftentimes when who's quieter.
Like me right now.
So like people may come into a room, it's like they always have something to say, but then it's like I know that's not a mark of wisdom, because the wise are able to get around other people who know a lot more and will actually want to learn more than they will actually want to speak.
Right.
Right?
That's true.
And so what I find is that a man sometimes try to act like he doesn't know what he's talking about, but then he knows a lot. But then he would kind of keep himself quiet, like he wouldn't say much. But that's also a mark of wisdom, you know. So, well, I'm gonna get him talking right now. So we
Huh? I want to be wise. Just listen.
So here we are, Proverbs chapter 9.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna read. I got the Passion. You got the old school one. You got the New King James. So let's read that one. I actually like that one better.
All right, there you
go. You got it in front of you.
Okay. Wisdom has built her house. She has hewn out her 7 pillars. She has slaughtered her meat. She has mixed her wine. She has also furnished her table. She has sent out her maidens. She cries out from the highest places of the city. Whoever is simple, let him turn into hear. As for him who lacks understanding, she says to him, come eat of my bread and drink of the wine I have mixed. Forsake foolishness and live, and go in the way of understanding.
All right. So, when we were talking earlier about this, we talked about like the main emphasis that we see from the first few verses about wisdom building her house and, slaughtering the meat, mixing the wine, setting up this feast. But it talks about wisdom being a person of preparation.
Yeah.
And one of the importance, have you seen as to be, what have you seen as a significant part to becoming successful and the need for preparation in your own life? Like how important is preparation? So for example, I think about there's a difference between planning and preparing.
Yeah.
Like you can plan a wedding, but you got to prepare for a marriage.
Correct.
Right? It's two different things. Or if I'm planning a trip, let's say I'm going to Hawaii, I can plan a trip to Hawaii, and if I'm going for like a day, I don't have to prepare much.
Right.
Because if I'm going for a day, I can literally go in the same clothes I have on, day to spend it for the whole day and fly back. But if I'm going for a week, I gotta prepare.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, in life we have to, preparation is very important.
Yeah.
I like to use a lot of cooking analogies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, a good cook will prepare their meal ahead of time before they cook it, and the reason is because you don't just prepare with the items. You prepare mentally first. You got to say to yourself, okay, what do I want to cook?
Right.
If I want to make rice and beans, I got to say, okay, what kind of rice do I want to use? What kind of beans do I want to use? You don't just go and buy rice and just go buy beans and start putting it together. So you start to prepare in your mind first. And same thing in like your natural lives. Things start in your mind. So if you want to be wealthy, you start preparing mentally. You say to yourself, I want to be wealthy. You start creating an atmosphere in your mind that prepares you for wealth. Right. So you start thinking like a wealthy man or a wealthy woman. You start thinking as a person that is a lender and not a borrower.
Wow.
So
there's a lot of people that have planned to be that way, but they don't prepare.
They don't prepare. Yeah. And in order to do that, you have to, one, you got to believe it, but also act on it.
Right.
What are you going to do from A to B to C to D? Follow the steps that you need to follow to get to where you want to go. So if you want to be an actor, how do you start from there? You don't just say, "Oh, I want to be an actor." You got to believe it, but you also have to do your research. Find out where do you start. Start prepping before, that way you can, when the opportunity comes, you don't just wait until the opportunity comes to start trying to work.
Mm-hmm.
Your wife wrote a beautiful book, Becoming the One, right?
Yep.
Talks about relationships. So you can't become the one that's going to get married until you get yourself together, until you prepare yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be good for anybody until, you can prepare yourself in that way. And I think that's what, wisdom allows us to see.
Right.
With this scripture here.
I told y'all he's wise. So even thinking about the whole cooking analogy, right? So, I like to cook, but I don't get a chance to cook a lot because my wife, she kicks me out the kitchen.
Yeah, she's afraid of your gift.
And I know. I'm the breakfast specialist.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get into the kitchen, I, like you said, I would think about what I would do before I get. So I'm gonna think about what type of omelet I'm gonna make, right? So I will plan with what I have in mind in the house.
Mm-hmm.
But if I want to do something that goes beyond what I currently have in the house, then I gotta prepare.
Right.
Right? Because now I actually gotta go and shop, like you talked about, and I gotta look for the ingredients. I remember one time I had a special, I cooked for on a special occasion, and I actually went and I researched, different dishes that would be good for Valentine's Day, and I actually went and I did an investigation and I looked up different things, and I just really feel like a lot of people that's watching, I think we're hearing a lot about the word about planning, and I just really feel like emphasizing that, like we think that, I can plan to go outside right now. Like that's, I don't have to prepare to do that. I just go, right? And I think that we have to definitely begin to consider in our own lives, like how many things that we have done that we said, hey, I'm going to put a plan together and we'll do it. But the quality of my plan, or the quality of my vision rather, requires quality preparing, quality planning. And I feel like planning shifts into preparation when we have a vision that is significant enough for us to say, hey, I need to go, like Noah had to prepare to build, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The ark. But the plan was to build an ark.
Right.
The preparation now,
getting the tools, getting the things that he need, knowing how he wants to configure the ark.
Exactly.
Hearing from God on how should I move, how should I, where do I start? Do I start on the left side? Do I start on the right side? And that's the key to our lives.
Yeah.
Like, if we understand and prepare our lives like that, we'll have successful lives.
Yeah. Fools have plans. Fools have a lot of plans, but wisdom teaches you to prepare.
Oh yeah.
Wisdom teaches us to prepare, and so I want you guys to think about that. It may be in your own life. Are there areas in your life that you have been planning, but you haven't been preparing for? You've been planning to get married, but you haven't really been preparing for marriage. Or you've been planning to get rich, but you haven't really been preparing for wealth. And wisdom gives us the ability to prepare for what's ahead. And so I just want to challenge you all on that. Think about what we just talked about today in your own life and kind of make some adjustments if you know that you need some help preparing for what's to come. Get around some wise counsel and seek some help. And maybe write in the comments if you have some questions. Let us know, and I'll let Amir answer your questions. All right. So that's day 9. Wisdom teaches you to prepare, not just plan. And hey, I'll see you again tomorrow at day 10. Peace.